The biggest terrorists you've heard of in recent years, where were they? Ibrahim Awad, Ibrahim al-Badri, al-Samarrai, also known as Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Where was he? Camp Bucca. Samir al-Khalfawi, known as Haji Bakr. He was an intelligence officer for the Iraqi Air Force. Where was he? Camp Bucca. Muhammad al-Jolani. Where was he? Also Camp Bucca. All the terrorists you see carrying out these operations, they all connect at one single point, Camp Bucca. In 2003, the Americans built Camp Bucca. This is a very important point. The Americans didn't just capture it, they built this camp. Iraq had plenty of prisons. Abandoned prisons, many of them in the cities. The Abu Ghraib prison building was already there. They didn't need to build anything. The Americans could have just taken over a place and imprisoned a few people. But Camp Bucca was designed by the Pentagon's own engineering and construction organization. Meaning they brought their engineers from America, their equipment from America, all the way into Iraq. What exactly were they planning to do there? They're spending money, incurring costs, they're designing it from scratch. They establish it in 2003. What happens in between? We'll get to that. In 2009, they hand it over to the Iraqi army. When the Iraqi army takes over Camp Bucca, they realize the most important terrorists are gone. The most important terrorists they had imprisoned, meaning Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, meaning this Haji Bakr, all the people you saw become the leaders of ISIS, the intelligence chiefs of ISIS, they're not there. They're not in the prison. They send a request to the Pentagon saying, the most important prisoners you captured, the al-Qaeda affiliates, they're not here. And what does America say? They say, we couldn't find any evidence, so we decided to release them. For 6 years, the super terrorists who would later become the leaders of ISIS were in American prisons. And it wasn't a prison. Abu Ahmed himself, in an interview with The Guardian, says it was like a university there. This is the confession of an ISIS commander in an interview with The Guardian. A few years later, this very same Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi declares a caliphate in Mosul. He carries out those horrific operations in Iraq, those horrific beheadings, those events in Syria. So what happened?